Hi, welcome to the summer edition of the Oaklander. I'm your host, Sean DeLory, and tonight's show will feature some of our favorite clips of the year and some things you've never seen before. So sit back and relax as we visit the past year with the Oaklander. Now here's Al, Greg, and Chris.
Thanks, Sean. Welcome to the summer edition of the Oaklander. While you were away, we were discussing some ideas for some future shows.
That's right, Al. I think our viewers would love to see the house coat and curlers competition. Mrs. McKenzie has a real nice flower number.
No, wait a minute, Greg. The people in town want to see real issues, like UFO sightings, pygmies in the firehouse, and jello races in the park.
Get real.
Get out of here. Well, anyway, the ideas are flowing, and we'd love to hear from you.
Now check out the video and the bass player in this next one. His next appearance will be on a milk carton.
Coming to you. Bye.
Everybody's standing in everybody's way, soaking up the sunlight on someone else's day. But everybody knows when all is said and done that the answer's gonna come when you hear the beat of the drum. Beat of the drum, 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 beat of the drum. Yeah, the answer's gonna come when you hear the beat of the drum. Hey! Everybody's writing someone else's books, soaking up the insight of someone else's looks, searching for an ending to what they just begun. But the ending gonna come when you hear the beat of the drum. Here it comes now. Beat of the drum, 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 beat of the drum. Yeah, the ending gonna come when you hear the beat of the drum. Hey! Everybody's signing someone else's name. 4 billion people, 4 billion games, 4 billion wildcats all on the run. But the answer's gonna come when you hear the beat of the drum. I can hear it now. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. Here it comes now. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. Again. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. Yeah, the answer's gonna come when you hear the beat of the drum. I can hear it now. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. It's coming closer. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. Coming closer now. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. Yeah, the answer's gonna come when you hear the beat of the drum. Come on, beat it. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. Come on, beat it. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. I can hear it. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. Yeah, the answer's gonna come when you hear the beat of the drum. That's what I said. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. And like I said now, beat of the drum, beat of the drum. Come on, beat it now. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. Yeah, the answer's gonna come when you hear the beat of the drum. Beat of the drum, beat of the drum. It's coming closer. Beat of the drum, coming closer, 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 closer. Beat of the drum, I said beat of the drum. Yeah, the answer's gonna come when you hear the beat of the drum. I can hear it now.
Roger, we're going to roll film number 19 from James Miller, volume 14, go.
How do we see ourselves? Are we able to separate our perception of who we are from reality as it exists independently? In what measure are we to decide our own existence as it defines us? To some extent, we appear to control our respective destinies. However, our inability to adapt to new and unfamiliar situations can be manifested in a vicious circle of self-doubt and vulnerability to external manipulations. How often are we aware of this process? An environment of familiar relationships dominates a stable life. What can happen to the idea we build up of ourselves when significant deviations from normalcy occur? Should even the unexpected combination of outside thoughts and physical surroundings alter inner identities? Often, the nature of our expectations can be the determining force in sorting out the unexplored. But what is the source of expectations built up in an individual? Separating the initiatives taken by the individual from simple imitation may be less important than the personal rapport with spiritual quality emanating from within. The real question could be less a matter of what we do and believe, but rather of the degree to which we can allow ourselves to become attuned to an entity residing and intrinsic within our core of being. Only to the extent that our outward efforts can derive life from this fundamental source can they bring a knowledge and self-assurance. Has it been enough to focus on this as the ideal center of a life of promise? Or are we looking at a past born of a collective insanity which can find its verification through common ignorance? When we cling to a tenuous methodology by which we define ourselves, missing out on potential growth is the weighty price we pay. Loneliness is ironically one of the few aspects of individual humanity to which we are all applied. And yet, countless hours of our lives are spent in the futile and self-defeating effort to deny its reality. Undeniably contained within these bodies, the absurdity of attempting to escape our aloneness has made it difficult to see the inner light which emanates from each of us. Shunned as cold and isolated, the potential beauty and fulfillment of our own personal creativity is often left by the wayside as we defer to other people whose initiatives we submit our efforts and attention. How ironic it is that the feared isolation of the self is the impressing force creating the empty tracks we take for that which made them. Can it be that the fear we associate with loneliness is actually a misplaced anticipation? Without the earnest self-examination available only through our separate state of being, could the profundity and immediacy of communication among individuals give us the sense of life we long for? Understanding the importance of who we are in relation to others can determine whether frustration or satisfaction will be the result. This goes far toward an explanation of why common conventions are so popular. Inroads to new expressions of creative energy may fail, and it is the fear of publicly perceived failure that stifles the inward and outward communication of people. Where does this fear come from? Do we choose to maintain it individually, or is it ingrained in one another of us by example and teachings? The benefits of such self-denial are actually few. Both the institutions of common authority and the individuals affected in question cannot help but be stunted in their healthy growth and progress, and the brutalities of war and other institutionalized aggression are built upon this drowning of the individual human spirit. Isn't it normal to be intimidated by the commonly accepted experts who voice the tempo and dimensions of accepted individual behavior? Certainly, being that normalcy in any age is defined to suit those who dominate a culture, the successful intimidation of individual initiative is often of seemingly practical gain to those whose self-image is submitted to institutionalized expertise. The truth, however, is that without fresh and honest reevaluation, based on an inward reflection of the people involved, the protective structure of expertise in the methodology of life becomes a cage in which people become insignificant in the ceremonial bonds of convention. What then do we choose to become? Are the commonly agreed manifestations of wealth and comforts a substitute for genuine personal enlightenment? Can we gain real satisfaction through renting parts of other people's lives as they can be dedicated towards our diversion? Through concentration on these properties and fantasies, many people satisfy their immediate desires and divert themselves from any unpleasant effects which could reflect upon them with closer examination. The fear of making mistakes is made to seem all the more important to an individual who has heavily invested in a popular methodology of self-definition. People must reach for a purpose and reinvent their lives. And now, Mr. Gorman will present us with recitations from Multiple Persons on Set.
Good day. First of all, I think we all should thank Mr. Miller for his incredible insight on so many matters. I must say, you have straightened me out. I see things a lot more clearly.
Well, it's been worth every cent I pay you to say that.
Okay. The point-counterpoint discussion today, I think, is going to be centering on an article from the front page of the New York Times. Apparently, Hillary was mad that Bill Clinton wasn't mad that Hillary was mad. Now, the article also mentions that Bill was aware and knew that Hillary knew that he knew that she was mad because he wasn't mad she was mad. Now, personally, I believe, I don't know about you, but I believe that if she indeed was mad because he wasn't mad, and if he became mad, then she wouldn't have been mad that he wasn't mad anymore because he would have been mad. But on the other hand, that would have left both of them mad. I think Bill Clinton took the right road, and what he essentially did was he did not become mad. So at least just one of them were mad.
Well, I'm afraid I won't have time to reply to that, but as you can imagine, well, there you have it. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
Nice day.
Ah, spring, isn't it lovely? Yes, indeed. I just love this time of year. The flowers, the playground, and baseball. Oh, I wish I could play baseball.
Hey, kid with the funny hat, you want to play?
Oh, me? Well, sure. That would be swell.
Go out in the outfield and I'll hit you some flies.
Oh, boy, this is so neat. I'm really going to play with the other kids. I'll probably make a running catch and nail the runner trying to score from third.
Let's see if you can hit my fastball. Go ahead, Toby. Throw me the heat. Here it comes.
All right, I got it. No problem. Right here in the old bread basket. Piece of cake.
Go, Frosty! Go, Frosty! Go! Go, Frosty! Go, Frosty! Go! That Frosty gives me the chills.
Here it comes. This is it. The big moment. Oh!
Oh, no! Oh, no, he's out cold. Are you okay, Frosty?
Oh. Maybe I'd better stick to snowballs instead.
Don't worry, Frosty. Let's get a nice cold snow cone instead.
That Frosty, he's one cool customer.
Gee, that was fun. I really like this time of year. Happy day.
So, Al, did you hear who got elected Torturer of the Month?
No, who?
They elected Bob. Can you imagine Bob? He's Torturer of the Month.
Oh, no. Not Bob.
Oh, that could be him. He's supposed to be coming by today.
Oh. Uh-oh. It's Bob.
I'm gonna give you guys the brush once and for all. But first, I'm gonna make you talk. Ever see one of these?
Oh, look at that. Oh, my God.
He's at the home repairs.
Can you sing How Deep Is My Love?
Oh, I don't remember the lyrics.
Tonight you will be twice entertained by this. Once now and once at the end of our show. But first, some visual effects. We have target practice starting immediately.
Oh, this is it, Al. I know it, man. This is it.
Where is the Oakland TV show?
Oh, don't tell him, Al. No matter what, man.
You'll never break me.
You better talk.
I'll never talk.
No way.
Well, okay, suppose I dropped it. We talk now?
Okay.
Talk now? Okay.
Sure.
Works for me. Works for me. We'll be right back.
This camera then?
Recording black.
You cannot see me. I am invisible right now. I work for Oakland. Ellen.
Of a very interesting guest on. This is Raja Chemo, who is the expert at many things. Raja, tell us, are you an expert at shopping malls?
The foremost, yes.
The foremost expert, okay. And have you been involved in the architecture or the planning of any new shopping malls recently?
No, I kind of drive through. I drive through them and don't buy anything most of the time.
And so that qualifies you as an expert. Well, that's very good. I also understand you're an expert at high-speed racing cars. Is that true?
Yes, this is correct.
Very good. And can you tell us some of the models that you've had an opportunity to drive and test and maybe actually work on?
I haven't actually driven a Sportster car yet, as of yet, but I'm working on getting my permit.
Is that your 64 Chevy Nova out in the parking lot?
No, I do like the design though myself, but it's a nice looking vehicle, but I don't have one.
Okay. Now I understand you're also an expert at aeronautical engineering. In fact, you were involved, if I understand, in the actual architecture and design of the space shuttle. Is that true?
Actually, more like aerodynamic birdhouses. You know, I thought, why have the birds have to come down and land? Why they can just be in the air and go to their house, right? They can just be up there and go to sleep.
So does the bird actually have to land, or can it just arrive without actually even having to touch down?
I don't know. I haven't been there myself.
Okay. Now, there's also a very interesting facet that I wanted to talk to you about, because I understand you're an expert at paving. You actually paved some of the parking lots in this town. Is that true?
I even named the band Pavement. Yes. I am the Pavemeister, they might call me.
The Pavemeister. Well, thank you for joining us today, and we'll catch you next time on Meet the Expert.
Thank you.
I'm taking a shortcut. Oh! Oh! Oh!
18th century farmhouses throughout the Mariposa Valley simply because George Washington stopped here.
Happy birthday, Oakland. Say happy birthday. Say it. Happy birthday, Oakland. Well, she means, well, thank you.
What is it that you would like?
Don't worry, we'll ask.
Okay.
Okay, here we are with one of our favorite guests on the Oaklander, and this is
Councilman Donald Burns.
Donald Burns. Thank you for coming on. Would you like to wish Oakland a happy birthday?
I'd love to wish all of the residents of Oakland a very happy birthday for our 300th anniversary.
Very good. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Good luck, gentlemen.
Sally Ann Pilser.
Sally Ann, I think I've heard that name before. And would you like to wish Oakland happy birthday?
Certainly would. Like to wish everybody in Oakland a very, very happy birthday and 300 more. Thank you. Have a great year.
Now here's Al DiGiacomo. He's in his 4th year of riding.
He's in his 4th year in intensive care.
Hello. Fran and I are very happy to welcome the Oaklander to our home today to talk about our 300th anniversary. We've been asked to talk about why we are celebrating and what we are celebrating. As for the why we are celebrating, we think it's very important for the citizens of our town to understand the history of our town, the pride of community, the things that have made our town what it is. This pride started 300 years ago with the purchase of the land on June 5th, 1695 from the Minsky Indians. Aaron Schuyler purchased this land for the grand total of 250 New York pounds or wampum. This 5,500 acres then grew to be what is now the current town of Oakland. This history, we feel, is very important to our residents to understand where they've come from, how they got to where they are, and where they are going. To help our citizens understand this, the borough will be issuing an update of the Oakland phone book. This should come out about June of this year. From the profits of that book, we will be updating the 2 histories of Oakland, the years between, and the Valley of Homes. These books explain the history of Oakland and will help everyone understand where they came from. Isn't that right, Fran?
Absolutely. In the next 2 weeks, you will be receiving our borough newsletter. Our year of events have been planned with all of you in mind, and to talk about the history of Oakland and the things that make our town a special place to live. Happy birthday, Oakland.
Little bombs in a wreck, burn out Apple candles, perfect what does suspect. It's more than he can handle, now he's headed for a breakdown. Conjure the warmth of flames, feeling lonely. Conjure the warmth of flames, you can revive it, take the time. Conjure the warmth of flames. Conjure the warmth of flames. Little bombs in a wreck, he totaled his Mercedes, his arm permanently set to play an open E string. Now he could have had a breakdown. Conjure the warmth of flames, feeling lonely. Conjure the warmth of plains. Photographs and cassettes remind him his love for music hidden deep inside him. Doing more of what you can't does not make a strong human. Turning around this time, project feeling fine. Conjure the warmth of praise, feeling better. Conjure the warmth of blaze, you can revive it, take the time. Conjure the warmth of flames. Conjure the warmth of flames. Photographs and old cassettes remind him his love for music hidden deep inside him. Doing more of what you can't does not make a strong human. Turn it around this time, project feeling fine. Conjure the warmth of place, feeling better. Conjure the warmth of place, you can revive it, take some time. Conjure the warmth of. Conjure the warmth of flames. Conjure the warmth of flames.
What was the average Saturday night like in Oakland in, say, 1935?
Saturday night in Oakland, it was pretty a busy town at that night because the trains used to come from New York, and they used to unload here in the Oakland station, and then there'd be 8 or 10 taxis to haul everybody to West Oakland, down to the colonies and all the bungalows, and they had a merry old time down there on Saturday night.
Was Main Street paved at that time, or was it still a
Yes,
dirt road?
it had blacktop. It wasn't blacktop, it was tar, they tar and then stone it and all that. But also they used to have block dances, what they call block dance. You know what a block dance is?
Where everybody from the block comes out and dances.
They take a block and they shut it down so no cars can come through, and
People
then
bring out food.
and they have a dance, and they have a merry old time. They're open all night, so it's a thing to have fun, for the people that live in town.
You had told me a little story about one of your favorite places in the area was a place called Cowtown Ranch. What were the type of things that you did there as a young man?
I used to know. I had a good friend of mine. He was Ted Allen. He was a world's champion horse thrower.
Horseshoe.
Pitcher. So anyway, this guy, I brought him over there, and they had guys that could play horseshoes really good. Them old timers could play. So Ted and I we'll play the winners. Well, this guy just throws ringer after ringer, He turns around backwards, throws them over his head, and they land ringers,
Okay.
These guys were going crazy. And then guys would hold matches like that together, and he'd light them with the horseshoe.
Oh.
I mean, he was accurate. He was really good.
What other type of activities did the summer guests?
But they had a little rodeo, a little wild stuff to ride. I used to ride a bull there, or a bucking horse, or something like that for the customers that she had. There was a woman named Mildred Myers used to own that, and she was a nice gal. And a lot of cowboys there. And I remember a fighter fought Joe Louis, and He got beat pretty bad.
Oh, well, I can
And
understand that.
that's where he stayed. He came there and stayed. He was from England,
Really?
you know, and he stayed there. So we went over to see him anyway.
These bungalows, how much did they really cost for maybe a week or for a month when most people were making 70 cents a day back then?
Yeah, I know, but they used to rent them. They didn't hardly pay anything for them, you know, to rent them. You know.
Really?
Yeah. Just during the summer, couple months they rented them. But they had a lot of fun down there because there were a lot of those people were stage people, you know, Broadway show people that used to come up and for recreation.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
A lot of people from New York City.
They loved the sun. They loved to lay in the sun down there, and that's what they did, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, back as a small boy, you started off as being quite a daring man. And in the spring, the Ramapo River would naturally flood, and you and some friends decided to have a little adventure on the Ramapo River.
Yes, that was quite a ride.
Tell us about that.
4 of us, we got in the canoe, and we started downriver, and we got down to the falls down in Pompton. The falls are still there, but when the water was swift and flooded, the stream did not drop right off. It went way out, and I thought, oh, we can make that. That's nice, you know. But you're a kid, you know. You don't know the dangers, boy. I tell you, we got in there, and off we went down that thing there. Boy, I tell you, that was a ride and a half.
How old were you when that happened?
No, I was only about 14 years old. And one guy fell out, so we had to rescue him because we found out later on he couldn't swim a stroke.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you were introduced to rescues at a young age.
That's
huh?
right. Oh, man, that was something that scared me. Plus, my father, he'd like to kill me when I came home. He found out about it, you know.
Well, let's see. At this point, maybe you're growing a little older. Everybody had a first car,
Yeah.
right? And your first car was a Model T.
Yeah, Model T.
Tell us a little about
I had a Model T. We called it a Lizzie, yeah. And I cut it down. I made it like a racer, you know. We took the part of a canoe. We put that for the rear, you know. We formed it, you know, with canvas and everything. And it looked like a little old-timer, see. But I had some friends, you know, that wanted to ride, and I used to take them for a ride, anybody, all over the mountain.
Well, you had a special Hollywood friend that used to like
Yes,
to ride around in the
I
woods
did.
with you.
Cecil DeMille. He used to live what is called Terhune Drive now, across from the nursing home that's still there.
Now, this is director Cecil B.
Yeah.
DeMille.
So I used to take him for a ride. And I'd go through the woods, you know, over the rocks, through water, and the poor guy was holding on, you know, but he got used to it, you know.
He enjoyed it.
He enjoyed it. He had more fun, and I'd call him up. I'd say, you want to go for a ride? Yeah, come pick me up, you know. It was a ride just to get to his house through the woods, you know.
I'm sure.
But then I had an experience with him when I got in service. I called him up when I was hauling troops over the West Coast. And when I got to Hollywood, I called him on the phone. And the guy was with me, you know. Oh, you don't know him, you know. I said, no, all right. I called him. He said, stay right there. I'll be right there. He came right over and picked us up, boy. That was a thrill because he took us through the studios, everything. Oh,
I'm sure that was really something
what
for
a
your
meal.
friend.
Yeah. Nice man, boy. He was a nice man.
Now, you've spent some time on a movie set yourself.
I did, yeah. He always used to say that, you know, why don't you come over and work for me, you know, and all that. But I wanted to be free. I don't want to be tied down, you know. But it's the way you are when you're a kid.
Well, as you started to grow a little bit older, you and your two brothers, you toured the country in a daredevil act called Thrill Show.
Yeah, we did.
And tell us a little bit about the tricks that you would perform and some of these fascinating stories.
We'd buy junk cars and then we'd head on them, crash them, head on, But we also know that we never head on a car no more than 35, 36 miles an hour, no faster than that.
No, that 35 miles.
The belts we had in them days would not hold you. The straps wouldn't hold you. See, that's far as that would hold
And
you.
those are especially rigged there because
Yeah, you'd
seatbelts
go
were...
flying, you know. Before, we used to head on, what we used to do, we used to jump off out of the driver's seat in the back of the seat, see? And then when you head on, you didn't get hurt that bad. You got hurt, but you didn't get hurt that bad. You didn't break any bones.
What
So
other
it's quite a feat to jump in the back, you know.
What other types of daredevil?
Then we had, I had my brother laying on the hood, and we had 10 cakes of ice, and he'd have a helmet on, and we'd go through the ice, going about 40 miles an hour.
And this was toured all through the country.
Yeah, and we had that. Then he used to jump a car over 3 buses. You know, we had a ramp, we built a ramp, and they used to jump over 3 old Greyhound buses. Plus, he had a motorcycle jump the same way.
Where did you get the cars in the...
Junk cars. You
So
know.
you would
Oh,
pull into a
plenty
town,
of cars, yeah.
go to the junkyard,
Yeah.
say,
That
I
would
want
give
that
you a
one, I
running
want
go.
that one, I want that one.
Yeah.
This is
They'd
incredible.
give them to you. They won't do it today anymore.
No. Today is not the fun days anymore.
Some of those cars would, you know, you have to figure it all out. You just don't, you know, you pick it, take off. Like, he used to lie down on the ground, and then we'd come around the arena, ride right over him, you know. But we really, the front wheel did not touch him at all, or in the back wheel, because I'd have a little takeoff there, see, about an 8-inch takeoff, you know, like a little tiny ramp. As soon as you hit that, that would raise you up and keep you in the air until you went over them.
Did any of you...
One day it didn't work that way. It fell on him. We got him.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah,
Did you ever
got him, broke all his ribs on one side.
What were your 2 brothers' name? I don't believe I know.
Pancho Scardo and Tony Scardo.
Tony and Pancho.
Yep.
Well, at this point, you're off to World War II.
Yeah.
You're on your way to Europe. You're signing forms, getting injected and inspected, and at that point, you're telling the Army what you've done with your life, and tell us who you drove around in Europe.
Oh, I drove like General Bradley. I had him for a while, you know. And
General Omar
Bradley. He was quite a general, very smart. Boy, I tell you, he was really good. Nice general.
As far as generals go?
Yeah, he's, you know, he wasn't a nasty one, but there was a lot of nasty generals, I'll tell you. Whenever I ran into a general, he was always yelling at me, you know, do this, do that, you know, hurry up.
Now, this is on the front lines?
Yeah, we were, the first time I met him, he says, we're going to go look for a division. It's been lost for 3 or 4 days. I couldn't believe it. A division lost, right?
How do you lose that?
How do you lose a division? So I said, okay, we'll go out through the desert. So we went through the desert. I followed tracks. I picked a set of tracks and we went. I found him. We found him, you know.
Was there much fear knowing that you were with one of the, he was a 4-star general, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, you're with a 4-star general. I mean, you do realize that you're a target at this point.
Yeah, I know, but we all knew that. They brief you up on how to handle the general, you know, how you're the first man in the vehicle in case there's a bomb or something in it, you know, and if it blows up, you blow up. See, the general.
Yeah, we kind of know how that goes.
Yeah.
Well,
but he was all right. He was a good man.
He treated you okay?
Oh, boy, he really treated. Best treatment I had was with him, you know. But, you know, we starved in the Army, you know. We didn't have all the food. They never could get it to us. But with the general, he had his good rations, and he'd split them with you, you know.
Well, I just want to bring it back to the local town here for just a second here. And during the 30s, would you say in retrospect that they were the good old days for Frank Scardo?
Yeah, they were. They were good old days. We didn't have pocket money, but we still had a lot of fun.
I know that there are stories that you had told me. It's just fascinating stories that I have with Frank about Applejack on Long Hill Road.
Yeah, the man used to make Applejack up there, and Mrs. Hanover. I don't know if you know her, but they have Hanover shoes. You know,
okay.
she's a big.
Sure.
Anyway, she used to rent the historical house in Oakland, you know, the old historical house.
With Chris and Ann Curley?
She used
the
to
one
live,
now?
no.
The Van Allen
the
house?
One, yeah, Van Allen
Okay.
house. She used to go in there and stay there for a month. And wonderful checker player. She could beat everybody.
No kidding.
Nobody could beat her. And she'd send me up to this guy that made the Applejack, and I'd bring her back a gallon, you know.
No kidding.
Yeah. She loved her Applejack.
Well,
But he knew how to make it, though. It was really good, you know.
Frank, there's one thing that I must ask you, and we're going to bring you right back up to the present now, out of this time capsule that we're in here. You're probably the most informed man in the area about the Ramapo Mountains.
Yes.
Regarding the River Bend project, do you know if they're going to be blasting?
I don't think they're going to have that kind of blasting like 287.
But if they do have blasting, do you think that will alter the pattern of wildlife and the snake problem in there?
No, because they're not going to do heavy blasting like the 287 did, you know. Be minor things, I think. Today they don't use the blasting like the quarries, you know, where they make big chunks come out.
Well, I know that some of the folks were a little anxious to ask about someone who is knowledgeable as you were.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to set them houses right on top. There's not going to be much digging.
Well, Frank, listen, I know tomorrow night that you're going to be having your own award there, but the Oaklander would also like to present you with the certificate of appreciation, Frank. We've got all of our names signed on it.
Oh, that's good.
And I'm going to show it to you there, and I'm going to have it framed for you because you are a most fascinating man I've ever met in this town.
Yeah, that's really nice. Very good.
And it really has been marvelous, a marvelous learning experience just to talk with you. And let's get together again.
Okay.
And now it's time to see what's going on in town with a public service message break.
Al, hey, come on over here. I want you to talk to the people here tonight.
How are you, Mr. Director?
Good to see you.
Same
Good to
here.
see you. So tell our fine audience how we can get more people involved.
We'd like you to contact us. If you have a story, if you'd like to be a guest, if you'd like to promote some of the ideas that you have bottled up in your head for so long, we want you to contact us.
Absolutely. Don't forget, only you can prevent bad public access.
Greg's right.
Hold it. Okay. Okay, hi everybody. This is Pete Coletta. I'm here with Bill. I'm sorry, your last name, Bill?
Caffrey.
Bill Caffrey, and he is from Patterson.
Right.
But the very interesting thing about it is that Bill has been coming up here now to Oakland selling ice cream for how many years, Bill?
36 years.
Could you tell me a little bit, you mentioned something about the fact that you and your truck have been coming up here so much,
Right.
and how you used to sell to one of the mayors?
The lady mayor.
The lady mayor.
Woman mayor. She's a mayor, but from preceding this one.
Okay, and when she was a little girl?
Little girl. I
Okay.
saw all the policemen when they were babies.
Really?
All the cops up here used to buy ice cream. They come up with the change carry.
No
now,
kidding.
This fella here, all these cops are on.
He was just now pointing to Officer Pete, who's walking around too, when he was a little boy. And I guess you remember Oakland when there was also too, they had like Pleasureland.
Pleasureland, or Mellors Park.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Pleasureland was very, very popular. Pleasureland was very, very popular to Oakland. It was the only swimming place around at that time. Now they got Crystal Lake. They go there. It's down by the Lakeshore Drive.
Right.
I've seen much midget league baseball here since 1959.
Right. Now, you mentioned to me a few minutes ago, we were talking before we went on camera, and you mentioned that about the horses that were in the area?
Right, they used to have an academy over here by Grand Union.
Oh, okay.
They used to have it was a school. and had the trained horses in there.
Oh, really? Okay, equestrian type, I guess
Yeah,
you would call it.
right.
Okay, they had an equestrian school right by the A&P. Fine. And what was the landscape like in Oakland at this time?
It was just about the same, but it was less people.
Well, yeah, I can imagine.
Matter of fact, when I came down here, these things only used to have 500 people. Now you can see they got 5,000.
Right. Okay. And how many parks did you go into when you were in Oakland?
Just the rec park.
Just the rec park
The
alone?
rec program.
There's no other fields or anything like that around the area?
There is, but there are a few small ones, but I never went to them.
Okay.
Soccer fields.
Right. All righty. And what do you think about how the people have changed here? Do you find them to be more of a younger group, or are they?
Oh yeah, the older people, of course, are gone. They're dying off. They're moving to Florida, and kids are growing up. Of course, I've sold a lot of kids probably say, "You used to be my ice cream man." So I'm selling to their kids, and I always kid them. When I sell to your kids, then I quit.
Then you're going to say you've had it then. That's
had it
too much. And I'm just trying to think of some more interesting things to talk about here. I'm losing.
Well, they got a mayor that's running.
Right.
I don't want to get into politics, but that guy's second to none. I hope he gets it.
Which one is the new mayor?
New mayor.
Pete Kendall?
Yeah, Kendall.
Right. You think he's a good mayor?
Oh yeah.
Really?
He's been good to the kids. Been good to me.
Really? That's great.
And I think good to the main thing is been good to the kids.
Good.
And I say anybody's good to kids got to be good.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. I agree with that completely. Well, I appreciate it, Bill. Thank you very much for your time, sir. And hope to see you again the next year.
Right.
Thank you.
That's our team, Oakland.
Oh yeah, of course. You all right? Yeah, that was. Yeah. I had a little pause on it. I just want to make sure that
which are becoming a big thing in this country. Have you switched to llamas?
Not yet. I'm thinking about that. When I get a good price for the camel I have, I'm going to get rid of that camel, and I'm thinking of getting maybe 2 lobsters. Listen,
Do you have a 1-hump?
I have a 2-humper, and I'm looking, to get the llama because the llama is, I don't believe I'm saying this, but the llamas are a lot more better cushion to them.
Okay, and you had some secret lives overseas also, didn't you?
That is correct. Yes, over
you
the
were
seas.
a spy,
right?
And you were a short order cook. Okay, and then
I try to be diversified.
Right. I can believe me. You probably have a life as interesting as anyone has ever lived. It reminds me of that famous story, The Great Imposter, if you're familiar with him. He did everything he wanted to do, and you obviously are doing things that you don't even want to do.
That's true.
Just to fill in the book.
Right, yes, right. I want to keep things secret, so I, try to keep this, going this way.
What do you have planned for the future? What are some new endeavors?
I'm hoping to...
Well, we are running short on time, Alfonso, so I hope that you will join us again as a guest, and we would certainly love to have you.
It would be my pleasure. Believe me, it was a joy being here.
I'm glad to hear that. And
where am I?
Good luck with your future endeavors.
Thank you.
And folks, that's all we have for this evening, and we'll see you soon. And we still have a few seconds, I gather.
Close the show tonight by showing you a little bit of what other people in other communities are doing with their public access channel. We take you to Plainfield Speaks, and after that you'll see Mayor McGreevy in Woodbridge Township for a few seconds conducting a public meeting via public access television. Take it away, Cliff.
But there is something the public can do. This is a country built on the citizens. And once the citizens stir up enough noise, people will listen. And we must do that. We must do that because this board, and one thing I do agree, this board is running rampant because they feel there is no threat. And so they're doing things that are blatant.
I want to ask the viewing audience a question. Do you, as viewers, agree with the last caller about the corruption of the Board of Education? You give us a response by calling 769-7987, 769-7987. How is Plainfield Speaks? You on the air?
Don't forget, the Oaklander will be on every Monday night on Channel 20 from 6 to 7 and 8 to 9 p.m.
That's right, Channel 20 every Monday from 6 to 7 and 8 to 9 p.m.
So tune in and pay attention. This means you.